Okay, I think we're good. Freaking, so just while we're waiting for people to get in here, I did the live stream yesterday opening 58 faction packages, right? And
I watched it, actually.
Oh, did you? So
well, I didn't watch it, but I had it on at work. Yeah. And yeah, you turned your back to that last one.
I was, because I was like, I'm not going to get it. And then...
I can't believe that happened. I cannot believe that happened. You are the luckiest son of a bitch.
I still don't have the Titan legs, though, which sucks, but found a good substitute. Freaking... Yeah, that was so funny. That was, oh man, that actually had me rolling though, because people in chat were like, this is pre-recorded. I was like, does it look like it's pre-recorded? I'm reading your stuff. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to stream.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess since we do these live now, we shouldn't wait as long before starting them. Or, you know what I mean. Like, since I just leave this up as the episode. You're recording them. Yeah. So we can go ahead and start then. So, hey guys, Scare9 here. Welcome back to the Last Word Podcast, episode 36. Now, before we start, I do want to just lead in this episode by letting you guys know what's going on. I feel like a lot of you guys probably don't pay attention to my Twitter and that kind of stuff, and not to your fault. I'm not trying to shame you out of that, but I just want to let everyone know what's going on. So, first off, if you're on the YouTube side of things, we record these live on Friday, and I thought... You know, for a while there, I took them down and I edited them, and then I put them back up on Monday. But unless it starts cutting out midstream from now on, that's kind of pointless. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to start leaving these up. You guys will have a couple minutes of fluff at the beginning, but it's not a huge deal. 2, Iconoclast will not be joining us any longer. There were some creative differences there, so we had to go ahead and, let's just say, disband that part of the host group. I don't really think there's any other better way to word it. It's an unfortunate situation, but we will carry on, make the best out of everything. So that is that. And if you are on iTunes, your episodes will still come out on Monday at 5 o'clock Eastern. And if you are watching on iTunes, if you could leave us a review every episode, that would be really awesome. But those are all the pleasantries. Went ahead and got those out of the way so we don't have to bug you with them for the rest of the episode. Let's go ahead and talk about the fun thing that is Destiny. So... this week, Jay-Z, how are you liking it? Faction rally and stuff. It's the first real thing.
Well, it gives you something to grind for, so you know I love my grindy stuff.
That's
seeing as there's no random rolls on weapons, cough.
That was the one thing, like, if Bungie looks at the statistics, right? I just can, because I sat at that Lost Sector on Titan for a good, like, 3 hours. And it was probably longer than that, because I was working on a video at the same time, so I wasn't paying attention. So there were a couple times where I had to, like, stop doing it and then work on the video and stuff. And so I was there for a good long time. And if Bungie, like, doesn't get the memo that I'm willing to sit in the same cave for 4 hours to grind out for faction tokens, like, do you know what I'd be willing to do for an exclusive legendary or exotic? Like... It's gotta tell him something.
I do the same thing because I've been grinding that same that same Lost Sector all week ever since you released that video. I'm like, shoot, I better get in on this. Well, I mean, like, because you can sit there and talk and chill in the party while you're just doing it because it's mindless. Like, but it's not like I don't want to say it's boring for me because I like grinding. I like that aspect of games, but. Yeah, it can get a little tedious. So, like, if you don't like to grind, then I would not recommend that. But you should still watch the Scare9 video plug.
Yes! Look at him, man. Plugging my own videos. Yeah, so it's like... Yeah. It's crazy, though, because like I said, I was there for a long time, and you know, that's the thing about grinding. People do enjoy it. Like, you and me, we enjoy that. I put on some music... I get Victoria in the room, we have a conversation, whatever, I work on the video. You know, I kind of like distract myself, but the entire time I'm just grinding and I'm really helping out my character, my progression and stuff. And I get that people might not like that, and that's why Bungie should make it optional for things like the faction rally. And that's the one thing, like, 600 tokens to completely rank up your character, right, that's not a small feat. You're going to have to grind for that, whether or not you choose to sit in front of the same Lost Sector and do it more quickly, but more boringly, or if you go grind strikes for a billion hours because they give you like 0 tokens. or you do public events or whatever, if you're reaching level 30 on your faction with your characters and pretty much the maximum level for your rewards and stuff, you're gonna have to put in time. You're gonna have to grind. So I really did enjoy that.
The great thing about it though is like you're not just getting faction tokens. You're getting planetary rewards. You're getting everything all at once. So it's not like it replaces any of that. So you're constantly just getting stuff, especially if you're doing public events. That's probably the most fun way to get the rewards. Because you get the 8 tokens for completing a heroic public event. Plus you get the 1 planetary material or the planetary token.
Chance for the exotic and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's a good trade-off, I think. But like, it's something to grind for. It's something fun, and it's not something that's going to be here continuously, as far as I know. Or am I correct on that?
So not continuously, but it will be coming.
It's going to be monthly.
Yeah. So the way I took it, my assumption, at least, they were very vague about this on purpose. But my assumption in the way I took it, and the way they were wording it, is that this is going to be the PvE version of Iron Banner. So, you know, throughout the entirety of Destiny 1, people were begging for some type of monthly or bi-monthly PvE event. And I think that this has the grindiness and the competition to really, to very much mirror Iron Banner. So I'm fairly confident that's what they're going to be doing. So every like 2 or 3 months or something, you know, alternating it. And, you know, there's still more weapons and stuff in the database, too. There's New Monarchy Sword. There's a future war called... Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're missing Pulse rifles from... also... No, the future war called Pulse is one of the from the activity, but I didn't see a New Monarchy Pulse. I didn't see a... Was there a New Monarchy Scout rifle? Yeah, there is. But, I mean, they probably have energy versions of all of them as well. So, like, they literally can... you know, have 3 sets of weapons if they make, you know, energy and normal, like, kinetic versions of everything.
Exactly.
Of faction weapons. So, like, yeah, that's a good 3 months worth of content right there.
And even if they did it all, you know, with each new DLC or whatever, they could release, like, new versions of them. Like they did with Iron Banner. You know, every year in Destiny... Heck, for the first year, it was even different with every expansion, right? They would do a new Iron Banner set.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah,
that's very plausible.
It was a year thing, year 1, year 2, year 3. I don't think it was expansion.
Okay.
Year 1, they would just raise the light level, or it was light level at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
If I remember right.
And then there was the beta set was different though, right? I think there were 4 Iron Banner sets. I'm trying to figure out where the 4th one came from.
Was there 4?
I think the beta one was different, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to think. You had the wolf.
Because I know the 3 because the one had the high impact scout rifle that I loved year 1. That was like my favorite PvP weapon.
Yeah.
And then the second one had the other really good scout rifle, Nerwins. And then you had the Rise of Iron one.
Okay, maybe there were only 3.
With, Taken King. Yeah, I think there was.
Okay, well, either way, there were different sets, and that's something they can most definitely do with this as well.
Yes. And
I don't know, I like the idea because factions were, you know, they're kind of overlooked. And the one thing I really like about this is, you know, you have the 4th faction, Concordat, that's just super overshadowed in the lore of Destiny. And, you know, they're going to come back and reclaim their rightful positions and all that, and, you know, it hasn't happened. So it would be really awesome if just some random time, like a year down the road, there's just a random Concordat representative 1 month. And then we get to go talk to them and fight for Concordat or whatever. Even though they have the worst values out of all of them. But that would be really cool.
I'm completely okay. As long as you get, like, the amount of weapons that are in the loot pool right now, even though I complain about the static rolls, is really good. And we haven't even hit the Iron Banner weapons. We haven't hit all the rest of the faction weapons.
The raid still has half the weapons as well?
Yeah. There's some of them are dropping, but they're very, very low drop rate, from what it seems like.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying the amount of weapons in the loot pool. It just gives you more options. Like, Destiny 1 I thought had, you know, you had your 4 or 5 weapons that were for activities, and then pretty much everything else wasn't used. This gives us a chance to test out a lot of weapons, and they're not going to put like super OP rolls on things, and if they do put good rolls on it, they nerf the stats a little bit. So
Yeah.
They're making sure that they keep all the weapons pretty similar, and then like you just find ones that you like with your play style, and I really enjoy that. So
that was one thing we were discussing off the podcast. I think that would probably be a good discussion for on it as well. I was saying that I'm not actually minding the static rolls nearly as much as I thought. And don't get me wrong, I would still prefer random rolls. I love that grindy factor.
Yeah.
But it's just the diversity is huge within them. There's so many more weapons than I thought there were going to be.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like it.
I think the fix that they could do, though, was make mods actually be mods on weapons rather than 3 different weapon mods. Actually have like a reload mod and I don't think they should give a high caliber rounds mod because that'd be way OP.
Way overpowered.
Like extra
yeah,
stability.
Right.
Yeah, extra stability, extra reload speed, extra handling, whatever. Those are not, in my opinion, overpowered, and it's something they could do to give us a little bit more of a variety of the same weapon. Because Luke Smith said something about what happens when I get my 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th better devils, and they haven't explained what they're, you trash it for weapon parts. Congratulations, here's 3 weapon parts, and so like from what he was explaining, they were gonna actually do something with it, but I don't know. Like, do you think they still have something left to show about that?
It's so, I think for Bungie, it's probably a really difficult decision. Because right now, you do have a portion of the community who's not happy about it. Like I said, most of us are from what I'm getting, a lot of people are kind of in the camp that I'm in, where it's like, yeah, we prefer it, but it's not the end of the world. It's not terrible, right? Right now, the gun system's probably the most fair and balanced that it's ever been within the history of Destiny, which is crazy. Minus the Mida, which I think most of that's just nostalgia and people using it.
Well, they're already talking about it. They're looking at it extensively, so
yeah,
that pretty much means they're gonna nerf it, thankfully.
But so for Bungie, they're in this state where it is really balanced, and if you added the mods, there's always the potential that there's some crazy combination that you don't, see. Like, that's not always just common sense. And then whenever they make the change, if they were to make that change, there would be some new, like, King of the Crucible. And I think it's probably safer just to keep it like it is right now for the time being. Maybe whenever we get the Taken Queen, as I'm calling it, even though we have no idea what it's going to be next September, maybe that would be a good time to attempt a revamp or something. But for right now, yeah, I think it's better to stay with it.
Maybe that's a good poll for chat, like seeing if they enjoy the random rolls or the set rolls.
Yeah, that's a good question. Everyone in chat, if you're in the live episode right now, let us know. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the random? Do you prefer the static like we're doing now? Let me know why. I'll read it out as we do. And if you're watching on iTunes or on YouTube, let me know down in the review or comment section respectively. And then next episode, if we get a lot of good responses, we can pick those out and bring them in as well. Because I think this will be a reoccurring discussion, especially as we get more and more legendary weapons. Obviously when we have access to all of them, we'll be able to make a better informed decision whether we would like the static or random rolls. So I agree with that. That's a good point, Jay-Z. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So which factions have you maxed out on, Jay-Z, for Faction Rally?
Obviously Future War Cult, but I don't even know if I've maxed out on it because even though I got like 800 coins, I'm still getting drops from it. So I don't know if it's glitched
really?
Or if I can't count, maybe.
Yeah, if you just counted wrong.
So, yeah. So I don't know, but like it still seems like I'm getting drops. So and then the cool thing that I can just switch those coins over to another character and start getting drops on that character. Armor, I'm like, I don't care about the weapons. I've got 3 of each.
Oh my gosh, that was the most annoying thing when I was doing that live stream. Is I got like 4 versions of the sniper, 10 auto rifles, and it's just that's killer. But another thing I did when I did that, I switched right over to my warlock, who I hadn't even like initiated the quest on yet, hadn't even started the faction rally. and just went 0 to 30 in one sitting. So that was pretty fun. So you've done Future War Cult on 2 characters then, or you're going to?
No, just 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so New Monarchy on my Titan because the armor is disgustingly good. And disgusting as a good thing.
As a good thing. He's doing what those hip kits do, where they use a negative adjective as a positive one.
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to do that.
That's so sick, man.
I really like the armor set. Yeah, so sick. I really like the armor set for the Titan from New Monarchy, and then
it is pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
And then so if you guys haven't joined a faction yet, if you want weapons and if you want the best weapons available of the factions, join with Future War Cult.
Yeah.
Bar none, have the best weapons, and then their final weapon is from stats alone. And I mean, I think we're in consensus on this. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah, it's miles above the other 2 for sure. And that's the thing. So, if I'm a die-hard Dead Orbit guy and I'm repping Future War Cult, that should tell you guys something. It should tell you who you should be representing. That's the thing. I really want all these armor sets and stuff. I'm just really hoping that Bungie alternates. Future War Cult has a history of having the best weapons, which, if you think about them preparing for war and all that, it makes sense within the lore.
It makes sense.
But it's not exactly the most balanced thing to go around, I guess. So I'm hoping they kind of rotate it. Dead Orbit maybe gets a not complete garbage weapon next time would be really nice. And then
I think the hand cannon is pretty solid from Dead Orbit.
I meant as the final reward, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I think that's the second best out of the 3 weapons personally, but
I hope one thing I hope they don't do. So if we know that there's only a certain number of weapons in the database right now. And so the smart thing to do, and something I definitely don't want them to do, say if Future War Cult wins this, then the next faction rally, I don't want them to bring New Monarchy and Dead Orbit to have the same final weapon and then switch Future War Cults. You gotta put it on a rotation, right? Because if they didn't win the first time, it's not very likely they're gonna win the second time unless Future War Cult's weapon is just garbage.
Players to want to grind out that faction.
Yeah, exactly.
And giving the same sidearm is not going to cause players to want to grind that out.
Let's just never get that sidearm. I have a bad feeling New Monarchy's going to win. I really hope I'm wrong. I wish that was one thing. My main complaint is there is no live tracking system. I want to know how my faction is doing.
They said there wouldn't be either. They said in the update.
I know, man, but I want one, So.
No, I agree. You can see a progress bar to see where you're at. Or
even if it's just flags in the tower and they're at different positions.
Yeah.
Just something. I don't need exact numbers. I just want a general idea of how much more I have to grind to ensure my faction to win, kind of thing, right? So that kind of sucks, but maybe that'll be fixed. Maybe it won't. Either way, it's still not it doesn't detract from how awesome this event is overall, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to say on the faction rally stuff?
Pledge Future War Cult. We all want that pulse rifle. So
boom.
If you haven't, do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Approved.
Scare 9 approved, and JZ Basketball. Just, you know what? Just everyone approved.
Yes.
If you don't approve this message, you're playing the wrong game. That's pretty much that. So the next thing, I meant to open with this, but it didn't exactly work out like that. So next week they will be releasing hotfix 1.0.3.1, and I just wanted to go over it because there's some pretty big changes in terms of quests and stuff. So I wanted to make sure everyone here was informed and up to date on all this stuff. It won't take too long. But the things that they're going to fix, and this will go live on Tuesday. There will be server maintenance. Once it's over, we'll get to see who won the faction rally. The tower will be decorated for that faction, and all of these will be live. And this is only a small portion of the updates, but this is what we know as of right now. So They are fixing an issue in which players could lose access to the veterans transmat effects by deleting characters. I guess that was a thing. I had not heard about that. That's not a huge one, but I guess if you're a veteran you want to show off, that's pretty good. Fix an issue in which clan engrams would grant trials and raid rewards only at 10 power. Now, I was under the assumption that that was done on purpose. What do you think about that, Jay-Z? Now they're going to be dropping...
Too.
Yeah.
I was happy with that because it's the highest 2 activities in the game. So I wanted, you know, because people were complaining about that in the clan that hadn't completed the raid. It's like, dude, you just got a free weapon, just infuse something into it. Like, like if you want to use it, it's not a big deal. But
agreed.
I guess it's not a big deal either way. But yeah,
I just feel like
people out, I guess.
I don't know. I think it would have been better at level 10 personally. I don't want to seem like a big dick and be like, if you can't complete the raid, you don't deserve the rewards or whatever, because that's not what I'm trying to say. I feel like it's a little bit more fair that if they drop at a lower level, I guess. But you know,
you're
it's
still getting them like that. That's the thing. They're still yours, and you can get them or not. It's up to you.
I just, that extra light level, I guess we'll see how much it affects it. I guess it's even more incentive to be part of a clan. Now you get 4 additional max light drops per week, which is pretty crazy. So, there's that. They're fixing an issue in which progress for the exotic step quest, His Highness's Seal, was not incrementing properly. So the quest's progress will still increment by 1, but the quest step only requires 10 seals. So it used to require 100, and you would get 13 per encounter, and I think 5 per door every time you did the Castellum, the very middle encounter. So now those will go up by 1 until you hit 10. The thing I'm really interested there is to see how that translate. Like if you have 13 seals, is that going to go to 1 or is that going to go to 2? Are they going to round up, or is it going to go to 0? They're going to make everyone start over. Really interested to see that.
I hope they don't make us start over, because put hard work to get that, especially beat that Nightfall.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Nightfall level event. And
not the entire quest, just that step. I mean, just reset everyone at 0.
I hope it doesn't reset.
Yeah.
So say I think I've beat 4 raids since I got that step. I want the 4 out of 10. You know.
I think you would be closer to like 8 out of 10. If you, because I'm trying to think. Right now you get, 7 per? So, yeah, you'd be 3, I guess. No. I don't know.
No, it's only giving, yeah.
I guess we don't do the Castellum encounter every time, do we? So, that'll do it. That'll put us much lower. So you have that. They're fixing that. And then the other one is that they fix an issue in which raid milestones would not show for some players after a weekly reset. That's not a huge one. And then they're finally fixing the thing. So, whenever we finish the encounter for Gauntlet and then we're just continuously dying over and over and over again, they're fixing that. So that's very nice. So we won't have to return to orbit in the middle of a raid anymore.
That only happened once to us, right?
Twice. It happened to us on the world's first, and it happened one time that we were doing it. We were taking someone through the raid and it happened. But yeah. Freaking I just don't want that to happen again, right?
No, it was not cool. That's for sure.
Agreed. All right, so that's pretty much that hot patch update. Now the only other thing I really wanted to talk about today was the Iron Banner is returning soon. And I want to see what you guys are what everyone thinks it's going to be like, or if they're looking forward to it, all that kind of stuff. So Jay-Z, how do you think the rewards are going to differ in Destiny 2 versus Destiny 1? Do you think the system's going to be the same? Do you think it's going to bring less, like Xur is? What do you think?
I think it's going to be similar to what Trials is. You get tokens for completing activities. You get tokens for the first X amount of Iron Banner games you win, and then you go to a vendor and you turn those tokens in. Because that's what every other system has been in Destiny 2 so far, so I don't see them deviating from that at all. But it's going to be so, like year 3 of Destiny 1, they had a vendor and you got more. It's closer to what Destiny 2 is right now. you know, as far as vendors go. So but I think it's gonna go full-fledged, like all your drops are gonna be from the vendor.
Yeah, so
But
you
you're
think
probably gonna get close to
post
100
game you're gonna
tokens
get
per
tokens,
character.
right? Yeah. Okay. Do you
I
think?
think they'll have normal. I think they'll have normal drops in those, but it'll just be whatever those. Like, I think they'll do that as well, like they did in Year One or Destiny One.
Okay.
But I don't know if it'll be as high of a chance because they'll have weapons for sale too, is my guess.
Right. Right. Do you think that there will be, if it is like a vendor system like everyone else's, you know, where you the only way that maybe you can't buy weapons and the only way you get anything from those vendors is by turning in tokens? Do you think there will be a cap like the faction vendors, or do you think it'll be unlimited?
Oh no, I think it'll be like trials. Like after a certain amount of matches or wins, you cap out on tokens.
Okay. Yeah.
So then like you can only get drops from matches after a certain point in time. Like possibly get and that's the thing, like you don't need as to try to get for different, because that was the whole reason of grinding the Iron Banner, was to try to get the god roll on the weapons that were being dropped with the armor. You don't have to worry about that now. Once you get it, you have it, and that's
a pretty good point.
and that's why I see more of a vendor thing happening and maybe not even having drops. You know, because there's no reason to get multiples of all the weapons.
The one thing I noticed about Iron
Or
Banner in Destiny 1 as it went on is they expect, so like the first Iron Banner iteration, you had to play quite a significant amount to hit maximum level, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time you went around to year 3, it was only like maybe 3 hours per Iron Banner, and you can max out your characters. Maybe one character of about 3. So
didn't Year 1 you had to spend Motes of Light to get the buff, right?
Yeah, you had to get the buff.
Right?
Yeah, and the buff increased depending on what day it was. So the later in the week you I forget what that was called. Harden the Light or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, so I don't think they'll do anything like that. I also think, in my opinion, I feel like they'll keep it more on the lower side of grinding rather than,
They've kept everything on the lower end of grinding. They want people to experience all the weapons in the game. They've made it very clear, and for hardcore players like us, that sometimes that's a little frustrating, because it's like, I like putting the grind in. I like being the only one that has this role of a weapon or this special weapon, or the only one of X number of people. But in the to make it more accessible to a wider audience, they're giving everybody everything, basically.
Yeah.
As long as you put a little bit of time and effort into it. So I understand it. It's just,
I guess if you think about it like that, if I have to take a slight hit in something like that to make the game more successful, to make the future stuff better, I'm more than happy to do that, right? So
yeah, I mean, because you still get weapon parts and you still can use those to rank up gunsmith, and there's some rare weapons in there too. So like, I understand, and it's okay.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not even bad. Like, even with the random rolls in Year 1 and Year 2 of Destiny, I feel like there's so much more grinding in Destiny 2 right now. Just trying to get all these different weapons, because there's a lot of them, right? And I don't know, I like it. I like the different caps. As much as I thought I wasn't going to like this vendor system turning in tokens, I've really come to love it. I think it's better because instead of getting, let's say, rewards on my Titan, my Hunter, and my Warlock every week, I can now transfer all my tokens. Well, you know what I mean. After I get all the tokens, I can go over my Hunter, open up all of them, and get triple the Hunter rewards while having one of each character. So I'm a pretty big fan of it. I get to customize my rewards in a way I want.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit, I can turn them in when I want. I can see what level they're dropping at because the vendors refresh every 30 minutes and can plan accordingly. So I'm a pretty big fan of this system, to be honest.
I'm really liking the shader system. I know so many people have complained about it. So many people. And it's like, you get plenty of shaders, people. Like, but you can make, they're so good. Like, they change a piece of armor to like these because I hated faction armor even with shaders on in Destiny 1. Like I did not like it. I didn't like the logos, but like I was watching Scarrow's live stream the other day, and just putting some of those pieces on, like, and it made future war cult stuff look sick. Like it looked really really good.
Exactly.
And you barely even noticed the logos on it. So like the armor's beautiful. You can make the armor beautiful, and if you like the the aesthetics of it, and you don't like the color system, you can just change it. And,
like, name one time in Destiny 1 you could wear Future War Cult armor without being embarrassed. Like, it's not possible.
The Titan helmet that looked like RoboCop looked cool, and that was the only thing. That was the only Future War Cult piece
in year 2, the Hunter helmet had the scrolling Future War Cult text. That wasn't too bad.
Oh yeah, that was kind of cool too. Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's pretty bad. The colors never go together. I found that yesterday whenever I tried to apply like the whole set of shaders on the entire set of armor, it still looked really bad. It was the ability to mix and match shaders like that to flow a little bit better.
Yeah,
that really makes that better.
You had a few of them that you just made red, and then you had a few that you had some gold touches and stuff like that on it, and it all went together pretty well.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it takes longer than Destiny 1, but, you got to if you want your character to look as good as it can, you're going to have to put some time and effort into it, and customization and stuff, so.
Well, plus that, and, like, it gives you something else to grind for. You can grind for shaders. You can, if you want a certain shader, you can do that event to get that shader. Like, so I just like things that I can grind, like, because
that's the kind of
as there used to be.
Just a perfect example of that. So now you can do the raid and skip the middle encounter like we do, but you don't get the extra tokens and the extra shaders, or you don't get any shaders because that's the only place the shaders drop. And so I was actually meaning to talk to you guys and be like, we need to start doing this.
I'm all about. Yeah, because those are the best shaders, or some of the best shaders in the game.
They're gorgeous. So, and plus, like, we're missing out on a bunch of tokens too. So Destiny 2 is very much like, when there is a grind, it's optional. It's completely optional, but they give you a good reason to want to go do it at the same time. So I'm liking it. Everything right now, I'm happy with.
And especially since we now have the raid down to, what, 37 minutes? Something like that?
Yeah, 36.
Less than that?
Yeah, it was 36 minutes. Probably a couple seconds over and stuff from goofing around, but it's pretty good, Yeah. Could have been better, could have been worse.
Like, that's not a huge time commitment, especially for 3 characters. Like, say it takes 45 minutes to do everything. That's not a huge time commitment in a week's time to get all 3 characters through, and then, get the chests, get everything like that. So I'm okay with that. Like, and like, with that time period, like, it's not like King's Fall where it would take an hour minimum on easy mode, and then like hard mode was like, you're lucky if you got it in an hour, maybe hour 15 minutes, hour 20, hour 30, depending on if Oryx glitched out. So I think
I don't want to return to those days.
See, I love King's Fall, but we already know my opinion on that.
Yeah, we already know. We all, I think everyone's familiar with our stances on that. We end up finding a reason to have this argument every single episode, pretty much. So.
But it's a great argument to have. Like, it's we're enjoying the game, and we enjoy different things. But it's not like I don't enjoy the other raids. It's just, and Oryx is probably, other than Crota, my second least favorite encounter. Like, but the raid as a whole is amazing. So
yeah.
But we're in Destiny 2, and that's fake news.
Yeah, that doesn't matter anymore. I hope we never see those raids again. I think it would be something that people are going to be asking for, and I want them to be left behind. I want new raids rather than old raids. No.
Yeah, like, because especially all that they've learned from mechanics, from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. Like, Callus is a really, really good, like, full raid full of encounters, and it's really technical, and it's really, but it's not glitchy technical. It's like, maybe the dogs glitch out every once in a while. That's about it. and that's few and far between.
Yeah.
So it's
And on top of that, like, if you think Vault of Glass is good, I guarantee if this Curse of Osiris expansion has a raid, it'll put Vault of Glass in its place. Absolutely. I'm pretty confident about that. I'm excited to see it, to be honest, but we'll see. We'll see. And then I just now remembered, I forgot to write this down. I believe it was someone new to my channel, Ravager, I think, was asking on my latest video, or one of my latest ones. He wanted to know our opinions on the new public events that they added for the faction rally, and if we hope they keep doing stuff like that throughout other events, even if it's something like PvP oriented like Iron Banner, if we hope to see something kind of related to that in Patrol and stuff. And absolutely. Yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know, for faction rallies, they added this event. If you're watching on YouTube, we've probably done a couple of them. I haven't really been paying attention.
We've done 2.
Okay, yeah, so it's called like enemy supply drops or something. And so just a whole bunch of objectives drop around the area, and you have to go stand on them. And while you're standing there, a whole bunch of ultra or majors are spawning, and there's just a bunch of enemies, and you just have to capture all the supplies. And it's really cool. It's a fun encounter. And definitely, I would like to see more stuff like that, especially as we go through different events and different DLCs and stuff. Yeah. I'm assuming you're the same.
I mean, so not only did they make the worlds feel so alive, like compared to Destiny 1, like just patrols and stuff like that, now you're adding even more stuff to do on these patrols on top of that, and you're constantly like, I literally can constantly go from public event to one of those to another public event to and you can just keep going. Like, you don't have to sit there and wait, you don't have to fly around the world, especially since you can fast travel. So it's like they took everything that people had a problem with in Destiny 1 and just like they fixed it basically.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Public events are fun.
And that's the thing, like, I feel like in Destiny 1, even if they added a public event, which they did a couple of times, you know, the Blades of Crota, the Prowling Wolves and stuff, it didn't work as well because you weren't really aware of that unless you just happened to be in that area, right?
Correct.
But now you can see it on the map and you can get there like that. So.
Well, they did those to introduce, like, so the blades, you had the sword, and they introduced that so you could basically play around with it without being at the Crota fight. So it made sense why they did it, but yeah, you had to know where they spawned because they didn't spawn in every area either. It was only a few areas on each planet, so you had to know what area they spawned, and then on top of that, you had to wait till they came out, and like, if somebody else got there first, then you didn't have a chance to do anything with it. So.
Yeah, and that's where you originally, that was before my time, but that's where you originally got the Husk, right? Husk of the Pit was from those events. Yeah, yes. So I even missed that.
The drop rate was so low.
That's the thing I hope they start to add. A video that I'm going to start working on, there are 2 emblems that only drop at flashpoints from secret bosses, or the extra bosses that spawn. And they've got pretty low drop rates too. I managed to get both of them over this past week. But that's the kind of stuff I want more of. Just like stuff that doesn't really affect the common individual. But if you do have this extra time, if you want to devote some time into grinding the same boss or something, go do it. And then you get this exclusive weapon or emblem or armor piece or whatever. That's the kind of stuff I really want more of. For sure, and I think they're doing a really good job of it so far. So I'm interested to see what they do in the future. So that's pretty much that. And then just Zesia said, I want the Osiris raid to involve some sort of time travel mechanic that will allow us to figure out secrets of the past. So that's something. So time travel is so loopy, right? And obviously with the Vex, they would have to do some sort of teleportation, whether it be spatial or throughout time or whatever. But I think it would be really cool if you did have an encounter that was, you know, so kind of like how Oryx teleports you and how Callus teleports you. If you had one where you purposely teleported yourself on a final Vex boss and there was some combination of symbols or a certain door that your fire team had to go through or something, and you could only tell that by going into the past and watching like a tiny sequence, right? And like sneaking around. And then whenever you teleported willingly back to the future, then you had to go through that gate or shoot that certain oracle or whatever to damage the boss. I think that would be a super cool mechanic implementing time travel. I just pulled that out of thin air, so if that doesn't make sense, that's why. What would you like to see? That stuff gets confusing like that, but do you think that would be too confusing for a raid, or do you think that would be a really cool mechanic if they did it right, Jay-Z?
So you think it's would it be an optional?
I wouldn't say
optional.
I wouldn't say optional, but I would say like willing teleportation instead of Callus standing up and teleporting you. Like you're walking through a gate and then you have to sneak around. So kind of using the same kind of concept, but making you make the decision and then making sure that you pay attention for. So let's just say you go through this Vex gate, and whenever you spawn, you see the boss in the past, and he's like, standing there, and there's 6 oracles, and one of them happened to be a different color. So then you go back through the gate, and that's the oracle that in the real world, they all look exactly the same, but all 6 of you guys have to fire at the one that was, let's say, red in the past and destroy that, and that's how you do damage on the boss, like how you open him up to his damage phase.
No. That's a great idea. I love mechanics in raids. I love teamwork in raids. So that would be right up my alley as far as what I enjoy from a raid, and I'd be completely okay with that. Yeah, as long as there's some kind of DPS phase after that, because
definitely you need DPS phases.
They're doing but they're doing a really good job of integrating both in the most recent raids that they've been doing. So I think they're starting to get that down to what's best balance, because they worked on balance for all the things. They went from straight DPS to straight mechanics back to back. Well, sorry, DPS then mechanics, and then they realized that just straight mechanics isn't always the best idea. So I think with the Axis raid, they did a mixture of both, and then they did it even better with Callus.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and that's good, getting better because like I've said before, the way that makes it is so you have to work as a team. There's no getting around that. But instead of making it a long and tedious fight where you are absolutely forced to do Oryx 4 rotations, if you have good teamwork, if you have good DPS, if you've grinded the raid 100 times and you have the best weapons and the best mods and stuff, you can 1 or 2 phase Callus, no problem. And I think that is, and it rewards better teams. Whereas with something like Oryx, every skilled player has to do it the exact same number of times, and it just gets super tedious when you've done the raid 70 or 100 times. So I definitely agree with, but at the same time, you can't just make it like straight up. I guess Atheon technically has some mechanics, but it's nothing too difficult, but if you just made it like a pure damage phase, then it's too one-sided. So you got to make a really good balance of the two. And I think that, like Jay-Z said, I think Callus is the perfect example of that. And it's a way to make 4 separate encounters that just aren't tedious, that aren't grueling, that I actually really enjoy doing every single time. Yeah. And I don't see getting old anytime soon. So, well,
even dogs, which I think like most people have the biggest issue with in the community, that it's fun, just like. Because sometimes you get caught on something, you're on the other side of the map, and you have to go find your dog. Like, it's still a fun mechanic. It's going to be fun when the hard mode hits,
who knows what the heck they're going to add to it, right? Interesting. So, agreed.
Yeah, so like, I can't wait to see those mechanics too, and then like get those down, because it's going to add a new challenge, and like I just don't see this raid getting old quickly, because I think you said it that you thought it would get old pretty quick, but I don't
that was when I was frustrated from a 13-hour raid day, though. Like,
yeah, but you thought it was going to be similar to
I did until I learned, heck, you can 2-phase Callus, right? So I looking back on it, definitely I think this is my favorite raid. I think it's the most well-rounded. I think the encounters are so much fun. The design is by far my favorite in any raid so far. I'm a sucker for white and gold, though, so might be a little bit biased there.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the purple, too, actually goes very well.
You know what? I'm gonna have to have someone redo my logo. So instead of silver and black, it's black, or it's white and gold. I'm gonna have to hit up some people, see if that's possible, because I think that's just so nice, right? I love that color scheme. Have purple, and that's so royal.
Yeah, it's
gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely. So that's something to look forward to. Maybe I'll get a Last Word logo done too, if possible. If I can get in contact with my people. Yeah, but that's pretty much everything for this one. Like we said, I forget what question we asked. Oh yeah, static versus random rolls. Let us know what you think down in the comment section.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's pretty much the episode. So, yeah. Anything else to say, JC? All right. Well.
Future War Cult.
Yeah, Future War Cult. Do it. Enlist today, just for this one. So. Once again, I hate to annoy you guys with this, but if you did enjoy the episode, if you're watching on YouTube after it's archived, as soon as it's ready on iTunes, I'll leave a link. If you could go leave a review, take 5 seconds of your day, that would be amazing. Help us out a lot. We've actually been seeing, crazily enough, more to like twice as much traffic on iTunes than YouTube. It's insane. We've been getting super good numbers. Which is awesome. It's fantastic. Yeah. So if some of you guys could drop a review, that would be fantastic. If you have any opinions, you weren't able to make it to the live show, leave them down in the comment section. We'll start revisiting those in future episodes, especially since everything's pertinent again. With Destiny 1, that was a little bit weird because things didn't really matter week to week. But now everything really does. So if you have any opinions, let us know down below. But that's pretty much it. So I've been Scaro9. You can find me at Scaro9 on Twitter or Scaro9 on YouTube. And then I'll let Jay-Z do his thing.
Jay-Z Basketball 25 on Xbox and on the Twitters.
All right, there we go. So that's pretty much that. Another awesome week. Next week, we should have information about the official dates of Iron Banner, I'd say. If not next week, then the week after. But I'm pretty confident next week we'll get something. But yeah, like Jay-Z said, woot. And until then, go grind some Future War Cult. Have fun with the faction rally. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.